Okay, call the meeting to order at 4:35. Sorry for the delay. Regular meeting minutes of February 6th. We all were there. Were you able to see these, Vinny, at all?
Yes, I did. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. So we got some feedback from Attorney Ryback. A lot of it was kind of minor on the solid waste. And so Dave Hart is gonna work with Ryback on some of the small changes, because we don't want to have any of those unintended consequences when we enact something. I'll make sure it's right. So they're gonna work. I'm gonna get Dave Hart to talk to Ryback about those minor changes. The other one was the noise ordinance, and Ryback really came back with something totally different. And I know this ordinance committee worked on this for probably a good year, and they didn't want to get something that was too specific and, you know, it's hard to manage for the towns. Ryback mentioned something similar to Bethlehem, which is really, there's a lot to it. In any case, any ordinance regarding noise has to go to be reviewed by the DEP. And he says, well, you know, you could do, you take what the ordinance committee drafted and send it to DEP and see what they say. I think we're intentionally being vague on our ordinance, you know, for a reason, because of enforcement and everything else. And the consequences you can have between neighbors if it is truly enforced or not enforced. So, I mean, I could send it to the DEP and that's what you guys think, or?
That's all the red line. Hang on.
Oh, you sent that out?
Yes.
Well, did the ordinance committee even look at Bethlehem's ordinance to even kind of compare what we have and what they're using?
Yeah, they did. Actually, I think that was one of the starting off points they used was something similar to Bethlehem's. I remember Lori Lindenmuth, she proposed one early on, which I think, I'm not positive, but I think it was kind of based on Bethlehem's ordinance. And after all the discussions through the months, they decided to pare it down to modifying what we currently had and, you know, expanding it a little bit.
But their noise ordinance is 5 pages long.
Yeah, and theirs was for, definitely for a purpose too, due to the fact they don't have zoning down there and they zone by ordinance.
Okay.
And I think this is, I don't think I sent this out to you guys, so I'll quickly read it. This is Mike Ryback Jr. Somebody could be muted. Your existing noise ordinance dates back to 1965. This is an old style noise ordinance that predates the more recent requirements of noise ordinances, such as decibel reading standards for measuring noise, etc. It looks nothing like the other noise ordinances around the state. You'd probably have a hard time enforcing the existing ordinance, and the fine of $25 is minimal by today's standards. He feels we should be consistent with what other ordinances look like around Connecticut. They recently did one for Bethlehem, specifically state the various definition standards being applied. They're notoriously difficult to enforce, and he is concerned that simply referring to state standards will not provide you with an enforceable ordinance. I recommend specifically stating the definitions, noise standards, days and hours effective, etc. in the law. I mean, it could be back to the drawing board, or.
Yeah, I'd like to see it go back to the ordinance committee and give them Mike Ryback's reply and have them come up with something with a little more teeth in it.
Okay,
And that's doable for everybody in town.
yeah,
You know, we had the same situation. We had a one-time occurrence here in town, which will probably never happen again. But that's, I think, how this whole thing started.
yeah,
Yeah, and if we want something to be enforceable, it has to have the right verbiage.
and the problem is the enforcement,
Right.
Right.
and because that brings you to decibel meters, training.
That's what it is, right? So if we're gonna have one, we need to have one that's functional.
Yeah, I mean, he also mentions, there's a Connecticut Conference of Municipalities information kit on noise ordinances and some sample ordinances, in that, which I can get from the CCM website. All right, well, I'll try to gather some information and then send this opinion from Ryback and the information to the ordinance committee and see what they want to do.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be the best way to go.
Okay. What other ordinance did we have? Was that it?
Emergency management,
And that was, there was no problems with that, really?
we just added first selectmen and parens.
Oh, yeah, as Benny noted at the last meeting, not everyone really realizes what the CEO of a town is, the,
Right.
chief elected official. And, so I put in parentheses, first selectman, after that.
Yeah, right. So that would make it a little more informational. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else on that one?
That was it.
Okay. I mean, that wasn't too bad. It'll be interesting to see where the noise ordinance goes. Anything else on ordinances right now?
I have nothing.
Where do we stand with solid waste? Those are his change recommendations.
Yeah, and I think it's really on how the wording would be for these changes, which it would have to go through Ryback.
Okay,
There's some questions on like home occupancy. Is it a commercial institution? Is it a commercial business? What constitutes, I mean, if there's an accountant that has a home office, would they be required to have a dumpster, You wouldn't think so. The waste they're generating generally would probably be paper.
right,
So we just want to make sure we're not gonna, do too much, but make sure we hit the right ones.
okay.
Okay.
Tax collector's report. Pretty good. 91.22% overall. Still coming in. No refunds and abatements. Appointments, we got a couple. Ordinance committee, Robin Viola expressed interest in being on it. And she could fill a term ending February 28th, 2025. She currently sits on the Inland Wetlands Commission, lives on East Shore Road. She moved here a few years ago. She's been looking to get very active in town, which she has, which is nice. So, is there a motion for Robin?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And we have another one, it's required by the state of Connecticut. Kristen DeVille has always been our municipal agent for the town of Morris. And we're required to make sure we appoint her to either a 2 or 4 year term. And then we file that with the state of Connecticut as well. And some people ask, what is a municipal agent? What do they do? Such an agent shall be a staff member of a senior center, a member of an agency that serves elderly persons in the municipality, who has demonstrated an interest in the elderly, or who has been involved in the programs in the field of aging, which she has. Generally assisting people learning about the community resources that are available to them, publicizing these resources and benefits, assist the elderly persons in applying for their federal and possible state benefits available to them. And they report back to the Board of Selectmen and the Department of Aging and Disability. Each municipal agent shall serve for a term of 2 or 4 years at the discretion of the appointing authority, which would be us. And she just continue doing what she's doing for the elderly in our community.
And has she been on a 2-year previously?
I think we had appointed her and it just ran. And this is something I just got an email about, where maybe this is a new thing where they want us to fill out this form and send it into the state. So they're listed, I guess, with the state of Connecticut.
Okay,
Would there be a motion to appoint Kristen DeVillo and maybe make it a 4-year term? I mean, if she vacates it, we can always appoint somebody else.
okay. That's how that would work.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to appoint her for a 4-year.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Kind of a correspondence. I did have a meeting today with the Rybacks, Mike Ryback and his son, with Noel Lafayette from SHR Energy, our solar guy. And I think we're kind of getting close on this solar lease. It's been a lot of back and forth because there's a financing group, there's Noel Lafayette with his company, then obviously there's us. I think one question it's going to come down to is, can we abate the taxes on the leased property and the equipment that will be there installed there? Since the equipment doesn't belong to the town, we're not receiving the energy that's being generated from this solar array. It's going to be a little slightly less than 1 meg. So that's a question for our assessor, Betsy Quist, to see if we can legally abate the taxes here or not. And if not, maybe there's a way that, you could work it into the rent where they'll just reduce the rent that they're going to pay us by the amount of taxes that would be generated. That's one way to do it. It would be good. I mean, it's just, you're just taking money from here to there. It doesn't make much sense. It would be nice to make it clean. A $25,000 rental fee, boom, we're done. Taxes are abated. So I'm gonna reach out to Betsy this week, because we'd really like to have something ready to be voted on by the town meeting at the end of March. We've been putting off this town meeting for quite a while just because of this lease agreement. That's the report on that. I think we're pretty good on the lease for the Munson house. I'm a little disappointed, but still waiting to hear back from Kerma. They had hoped to get back to me by today. They did not. I reached out to them this morning to see what's up, and they said they're working on it. So I don't anticipate any big deal there, but I'd like to get that finalized as well. And if need be for Morris Cares Incorporated, we could have a special meeting if necessary to move it forward. But,
All right.
I think the whole handicap ramp is pretty much done except for one small piece of railing. And then the crew's gonna have to form some sort of temporary ramp from the landing of the ramp, handicap access ramp down to the driveway. They're gonna have to put something in temporarily for now. This budget, we've been meeting with the capital committee for capital projects and equipment. I think we've kind of got it pretty much narrowed down to where we want to be, and I can bring all that to our next meeting. Vinny, are you going to be up here for, is it March?
Yes,
You will be back? That'd be good.
yeah, I'll be fine.
Because I'm hoping to have the budget and that pretty much ready for the next meeting. If it's not the next meeting, it'll be the one right after the second one, but hopefully for the next meeting. And I didn't have anything else. Vinny, you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Denise?
I'm good.
Person on the phone, you had anything? You can unmute.
Hey, Tom. John McKenna. No comment.
No? We're gonna have to get you to do your Zoom thing where you put your name in instead of your phone number. We always wonder who it is.
Next time, I can do that.
No. Hey, so you could hear us finally, no problem?
Yeah, after that little glitch at the beginning, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad, because I'd hate to go through all this and have to redo it. All right, seeing nothing else at 4:51, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right, thank you. It's actually working.